Again, welcome back to our discussion. This is the part 2 of our discussion for lesson number 3, the basic structural unit of the cell wall. So what I discussed earlier, we discussed on the basic structure unit of the cellulose, which is glucose. Now you know the basic structural unit of the cellulose. We will now try to look into the chemical structure of cellulose. Now cellulose is, the chemical structure of cellulose is C6H10O5, which means it has 6 carbon molecules, 10 hydrogen molecules, and 5 oxygen molecules. Now, if you try to illustrate the composition of cellulose, we write again 6 carbon molecule, carbon. We have an oxygen group, a carbon, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, 4, CH2OH or ethanol. So you bond. You have the bond. Have here bond. And next we have 6 carbon, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Check. And then we have 10 hydrogen. For this one, unlike glucose, we have the hydroxyl group and the hydrogen group. In the carbon here, we have hydrogen, and then we have an oxygen. We have here hydrogen, then we have the hydroxyl group, then the hydroxyl group, then we have the hydrogen, one hydrogen here, and another hydrogen. So we have 10 hydrogen atoms. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We have 10 hydrogen molecule and 5 oxygen molecule. Oxygen atom. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So that is your one component of cellulose. Now, since cellulose is a polymer, this is a polymer that is connected by a beta D glucosidic bond. Okay, so cellulose is a polymer, which means it's composed of many monomers of sugar in the case of glucose. Now, it's connected with a beta D glucosidic bond. So, pasabot anang connected with a beta D glucosidic bond is, let me show this to you. So, we have here, natatabuan na. Now, this carbon here will be connected with an oxygen with another molecule of glucose. It's not hydrogen. This is oxygen. Then that is now connected with, so again, this one glucose unit here will be connected again by a glycosidic bond to another molecule, glucose molecule. Para lagyan po na ganiha. Hindi na ako isuwat ang ato nga carbon para daghan so CH2OH. So more or less sugad lang. Tapos continue nagyapon na siya diha. Another bond. So usa niya kay ana, that is kani connected with another molecule. Usa kay ana, that is your cellulose. Okay? It is composed of glucose units, which is bonded by this one, the glycosidic bond. Okay? That's a beta beta-glycosidic bond. So this is your cellulose. This is what you see in most of your cell wall of plants. So in wood, majority of wood, what you see in your wood is composed of cellulose, which looks like this one. This is to give you an idea of what a cellulose molecule looks like. So a cellulose is a polymer which is composed of many glucose units, which is connected by a beta-glycosidic bond. Now, this long chain polymer of glucose units can be up to thousands, 10 to 20,000 glucose unit ang usa ka strand lang sa imo nga cellulose. Imagine billions of strands of cellulose in just one piece of wood. It's composed of many cellulose molecule. Okay? So again, you can go over with the video if may parts ka mo nga dili na wala na intindihan. Okay? Now just to make sure, we will review the chemical structure of cellulose. Okay, from the top. Ito ni siyang paraon. So again, cellulose is the primary component of your cell wall. 60 to 70% of your cell wall is composed of cellulose. So the chemical structure of cellulose is C6H10O5. Atong nabantayan kanina, glucose is C6H12O6. But because it's already transformed into another molecule, ang atong glucose units change na iba na ng iyang hydrogen o ang iyang oxygen. Okay? But the same ra gihapon ang basic structural unit gihapon sa imong cellulose, which is glucose. Na iba na lang og pila ka atom sa hydrogen o sa oxygen. Let's go with our cellulose. Now, you need to understand cellulose is a long chain polymer. Long chain polymer of glucose unit bonded by a beta-glycosidic bond. What you need to understand is that cellulose is a long chain polymer of glucose, which is bonded together. Each glucose unit is bonded together by a beta-glycosidic bond. Now, to illustrate this one for you to better understand, what you need to do is just like what we did sa atong glucose unit, ato nga i-write ang basic structure sa ato nga cellulose, which is glucose. We have the carbon, the backbone, 6 carbon atom, carbon bond. We have the methanol or the alcohol group CH2OH, that is methanol. Now we have here O, have H, then we have OH, we have H, we have OH, we have H, and then we have here the O, and then we have the H, and we have the H. So we have 6 carbon, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 hydrogen, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then we have 5 oxygen, 1, 2, 3, 4, so we have 1, wala ning usa ka oxygen diri sa tungoy. Sa glycosidic bond na 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay? So, since it is bonded together by a glycosidic bond, nahitabuan usa ka glucose unit in the cellulose, maida na siya. This one, the glycosidic bond of another oxygen connected sa carbon sa another glucose molecule sa ato nga cellulose chain. So, chain man ni siya. Sabot sa chain, this is connected with a basic unit. We have the CH2OH, ang ato nga the ethanol, again ha, kaning CH2OH is the alcohol group. This is ethanol. Okay? So, mao ni ang atong usa ka connection. So, this is N, or hantod pila ka buok ang iya nga polymer chain. So, this is the beta glycosidic bond. The linkage that connects two glucose molecules in a cellulose chain. Okay? Klaro na to ha? If naamoy wala naintindihan sa atong nga discussion, please rewind lang kining atong nga recording sa atong lecture videos and step by step lang ang pag-understand so that inyo gumaintindihan ang atong nga discussion on the basic structural unit of the cell wall. Again, ang atong topic for lesson number 3 is the basic structural unit of the cell wall. Since cellulose is the primary component of the cell wall, which makes up 60 to 70% of the cell wall components, mao nang atong ginfokusan karon the basic structural unit of the cell wall. Since most of our wood is composed of cellulose. Now, previously we discussed earlier sa atong videos, we discussed the basic composition, basic structural unit of our glucose unit. Since glucose is the monomer of our cellulose, as cellulose is a polymer which is composed of many glucose units. Now, for this video, we talked about the basic structural unit of our cellulose, which the chemical structure is C6H10O5. Now, if we illustrate that, it looks like this. Although it's a little bit overwhelming, kay kadaghan kayo nga ato nga mga kuan. Daghan nga mga molecules nga present diri sa ato nga cellulose, but in order for you to dili kayo malisang sa pagtan-aw ani nga illustration, just imagine this one. This is one glucose unit. Paghimo lang mo og unsa man ni unsa ganini nga kuan polygon, nakalimot ko. We have 6 corners and usa niya ka corner. Remember that each corner is carbon. We have one alcohol group, the ethanol. And remember lang ninyo nga each carbon is connected. May da siya hydrogen o oxygen. Okay? And then we have the hydroxyl group, OH. And then we have the H. And OH. Then we have the H. Okay, makalimot na. Nga na lang. Pag-intindi sa ato nga cellulose. Okay? In the next videos, we will be discussing the lecture materials that I sent to you for your supplementary reading. Okay? If you have questions regarding this lecture video about the chemical structure of our cellulose and glucose, you can directly message me sa akong messenger account, or I will also post this sa atong YouTube, in my YouTube account, and you can ask your comments or ask your questions in the comment section, or also you can ask your questions sa akong messenger o sa atong page, sa atong FB page. I will be posting this sa atong FB page. You can ask questions if naamoy nalisangan nga part sa atong lecture videos. Again, thank you for listening. I will be discussing the third part of our lecture series for lesson number 3. We will focus sa ato nga module. Again, thank you for listening and see you on our next video.